Greetings, everybody. Nickie Brown here. No matter where you are and what part of the world you're in, I hope that you are having a good day. So, that song with CeeLo is stuck in my head. So, I'm going to just do a little bit of it for you. I got an accent because I'm from the north. And the most beautiful things come out my mouth. Call me. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I came to talk about something. Kind of, it could be considered a very sensitive topic. It could also be considered very triggering, depending on the person. A lot of people, they automatically say to me, "Oh, I know you aren't going to have any more children." And I don't say anything most of the time because I'm not sure how you know that. I never told you that. But people just automatically assume that if you are of a certain age, that just because they don't want more children or because they decided not to have any children, that you are of the same mindset. And that is not true of everyone. Everyone is different, right? And there are women in my age range, let's say 45 to 55, who still want and can have children. They would like to have that child and or children with a good partner. Some are willing to, have in vitro. And of course, there is a percentage of women who have been unable to conceive, but sometimes they were unable to conceive because they were with the wrong partner. And then all of a sudden, when they get with the right partner, they can conceive. That has happened to women before, even men. I'm drinking some mullein tea. If you saw my previous videos, you know that I haven't been feeling well. I was able to control it for the first couple days, and I thought I was getting better, but I slacked off on what I was doing. So anyway, this is mullein tea. It's good for congestion. So anyway, now ideally for those women who would like to meet the right guy, who they have a connection with, who they're compatible with, and who they can have a healthy relationship with, that may not necessarily, may or may not. What I find, and as I have mentioned before, I am a master life coach and a CAMS Georgia certified anger management specialist, right? And so what I find is that a lot of people are angry, right? And when they're angry and bitter, there can be spiteful and vindictive, and they will be deceptive because they're angry about something else. A lot of times it's something that had to do with their mom. Like I watched a video yesterday where a young man saw his mom twerking on some guy, and he was so angry he came and rushed over there and pushed her off of him, and he just looked at her like, "Are you crazy, lady?" And then a few minutes later, once he kind of calmed down, he started crying because he was really upset to see his mom twerking on some guy. And she just kept, like, she thought it was cute. right? So some young men are traumatized by their mothers while they're growing up. But because they love their mothers, right, and because it's taboo to talk about your mom or your grandmom, they hold that in. They never get help for it. And it turns into anger issues when they get older. Also, for those men whose father was absent, they never deal with the pain of that abandonment, right? Or those feelings of rejection. And so they're, again, out in society, never having dealt with those issues, and that anger turns on itself on other people. Even those who call themselves being in the conscious community, and they're awake and they're aware, right? And I understand that with some people, you have to be very passionate in the delivery of your message in order for them to receive it. But for some people, they cannot receive that message if it's coming from, yeah, because y'all need to, like, some people can't receive that. They can't even listen to it because it's too angry. It's too negative. Although you may be saying the truth, although your message may be good, right? But just your delivery throws people off. And for some of those people, when you try to tell them that, they don't want to listen. Well, those MFers just need to listen to what I'm saying. And you have to take a step back and say, okay. Because although they're conscious, awake, aware, whatever they want to call it, a lot of melanated brothers have anger issues because a lot of them grew up in single parent households where the mom was not able to teach them how to be a man. This is coming from a woman who raised a son, right? I could not teach him how to be a man because I don't know anything about being a man. Nothing. Right? I don't know what it's like to be in that body. Now, I can teach him what I know about life, right? I can teach him what I know about women. But because I've never been in the body of a man, I cannot teach him how to be a man. And some women get mad. Well, I did a good job with my sons. Hold on, boo. That has nothing to do with what I'm saying. People don't comprehend sometimes the meaning of what you're saying or the words that you're saying. It does not say that you were not a good mother. It has nothing to do with that. It does not say that you didn't do a good job. I know that I did a good job. But again, I have never been a man. So I could not teach my boy child how to be a man. Right? I can say, open the door for me. And you should open the door for your woman, right? I could teach him those things. That's still not teaching him how to be a man. In practice, you can teach them, but you still don't know anything about being a man. There's still a void. There is still something missing. There is still a lack there that they need to get help for. And people say, oh, well, I'm not crazy. I turned out all right. But a lot of times they did not turn out all right. A lot of people have issues that they need to seek help for. And this is not me downing anyone, right? But there are a lot of angry people, and they go around judging people for not wanting to live or for not living the same lifestyle that they have, right? Going back to my original point, You cannot tell a woman what to do with her body just because society says she's too old. Right? That's ridiculous. Take you some folate, see your doctor, and let your doctor tell you, what you can do. Women in their 60s and 70s in other countries are still having babies. So you can't say that this woman can't have a baby if that's what she chooses to do. And if she feels like she found the right partner, or she has the money to get in vitro, or whatever it is that she decides to do. Right? Let me throw this tea bag out. So I think that it's a little disheartening. But again, this is what society has programmed into people's minds. But if we were our original people living as we lived culturally for decades, we walked around nude, and the breasts were just seen as something to feed children. The hips were seen as something to accommodate a baby, right? Now they're lusted after. And, people pride themselves on what their snatch looks like, and what their boobs look like, and what their butt look like, and, and how good their wop is, or how good, if it turned to the left or straight, and all of this other crazy stuff that really doesn't mean anything, because we've become hypersexualized. But bringing a child into the world does mean something. It's a great gift, and we get to teach them. And I know that a lot of people say they wouldn't have a child in this current society, and I can understand that. However, we still need to populate the earth. So regardless of what's going on, teach your child. Homeschool your child. Right? I gave, advice to someone close to me, and I said, wait until you're over 30, between 30 and 35, and you're financially stable with both feet on the ground. But, people do what they want to do. But that's my advice, right? To the young people coming up, wait till you're over 30 and you have both feet on the ground. And what I mean by both feet on the ground is that you're financially stable. You're able to actually take care of this child. You're not working on a job where you're struggling and can barely take care of yourself. Because that's not a good environment to bring a child into. And if we use precaution, we won't have accidents. 9 times out of 10. I know that some things happen, right? I know that some people use precautions, and, sometimes things do happen. I get that. But sometimes we have to be extra careful. But again, this is not me telling people what to do. This is just me giving advice, right? Again, it's better to bring a child into the world when there's a loving relationship and both people are financially stable. And that's just the truth. I did it the opposite, because I was in love, right? And I thought we were going to be together. And, he painted the picture, that we're going to get married and we're going to live in a house with a white picket fence and we're going to have a dog named Rough Nut. Girl, he even had a name for the damn dog. Okay. And I was all in, like, oh yeah, that's what we're going to do. And once I became pregnant, he changed. Well, he didn't change. He was already like that. I guess he was just good at lying and hiding it. So, and, it was people around me who knew, and they didn't say anything. One person said something one time, And I thought I heard what he said, but I wasn't sure, and I asked him to repeat it. He wouldn't. But I did ask, and I was told no. I'm not, I don't have anybody else. But that's a whole nother story. But, respect people and respect their wishes and respect what they want to do with their body. And don't just assume that people don't want to have more children because they're of a certain age, right? There was a time, one of my friends, her good friend's mom got married at the age of 53. And she assumed that she could not have any more children, because a lot of people make that assumption, right? She got married, they went on a cruise, they had a good old time. She came back, and she felt, okay, whatever, going through the motions, newlyweds, whatever. Well, one day she went to the hospital for severe stomach pains, and she came home with a baby, right? Because again, in her mind, she never imagined that these symptoms she was having could possibly be a pregnancy, because she thought she couldn't get pregnant because she was 53. The eggs are still there. There may be fewer eggs that come down, right? And this was a healthy baby. So women over 40, over 50 can have healthy babies. Well, because again, society says you're too old, you decide not to do it. But your body is going to tell you something different if that's what your body wants to do, because it still works. Your body does not stop working because you're over 40 or over 50. Like, maybe we need to get that part clear and understood. Your body still works. It could care less that you're over 40 or over 50. That your body don't know anything about that. Again, take you some extra folate, get you some vitamins for women over 50, get you some prenatal vitamins, eat healthy, and call it a day. If that, if you want to do that. Again, there's nothing stopping you except you. Again, this is not for those who don't want that. If you don't want that, then this video is not for you. But again, some women find it challenging to find the right partner, and that's one of the reasons why they have not had children yet. And from what I see, like I said earlier, a lot of men are angry. They have anger issues that they're not addressing. I've said this before. If you have a headache, you take an aspirin, an ibuprofen, a Tylenol, a naproxen, whatever. So if you have an emotional pain, why not seek help for that? And again, people say all the time, oh, well, you turned out all right, or I turned out all right, or they turned out all right. But from my perspective, that person is not all right. I can clearly see the issues, whereas other people cannot, because they have not studied these traits or characteristics of a person who is hurting, who is experiencing emotional pain or mental pain. Because especially men, most men don't talk about it because they're taught to be strong and macho and hold it in and all this other kind of foolishness that doesn't even make sense. You have people who come from broken homes, not because their parents didn't get married, but because they got divorced. And the devastation of that really affects some people. But again, it's something that never gets addressed, because when these people get divorced, they're only thinking about themselves usually, and they're not thinking about the effect that it has on their children. They think that their love is enough, or them working and providing is enough. And a lot of times it's not enough. Then you have parents who were in the household, but they worked all the time and they thought that paying bills and providing was enough. They didn't give any hugs and kisses, or some people think gifts is enough. No, everybody's love language is different, right? So there's acts of service. If somebody needs you to do something for them and you give them a gift, they're just going to look at this gift like, thanks for the gift. Because they need acts of service. If someone needs touch, meaning they need hugs and kisses growing up, or as Dr. Frances Cress Welsing would call it, lap time. When they were a baby, they needed to have lap time. I went to see my granddaughter and I held her the whole time because that's what she wanted me to do. And of course her mom, well, her dad holds her all the time too, but her mom was like, oh, y'all gonna spoil her. There's no such thing. There is no such thing as spoiling a child. When that child is ready to get down, they will. That's just giving them love, showing them love and giving them affection, because that's what they need at a young age. They don't need you to say, go sit down somewhere, get off me, get down. I don't want to be bothered, girl. Get out of here, boy. They don't need that. If they want to sit on your lap, let them sit on your lap. If they want to hug you, cry in your arms, go to sleep in your arms, let them. It's not hurting you. If you need to get something done when they go to sleep, put them down and get your stuff done, and let that be the reason. But kids need that. So you have physical touch, acts of service, physical touch, acts of service. I don't know why I always forget them. Oh, gifts. Hold on. And so obviously the 5 love languages is not just about romantic relationships. But again, you have a lot of parents that say, oh, well, I provided for you. I made sure you had a roof over your head and food in your mouth. But they didn't give their children hugs and kisses. So a kid doesn't give a damn about a fucking, because you paid the light bill. And I don't mean to take away from what you did for your children, but that's not enough for some children. And I don't know why people don't understand that. And they get mad when you say that to them. But your child needed hugs and kisses. The child needed lap time. Your kid needed to be a kid. Oh my goodness. I can't get these things to open. I don't know why. Really? Alright, let's try it this way. So it's words of affirmation. That's another thing. And this is something that I would say to somebody in my life. Why can't you say I'm proud of you, or you did a good job? And the person said to me, well, nobody did that for me. And I was like, but I'm asking you to do that for me because I need that. Yeah, well, nobody did that for me. And I was just like, wow. But, you know, some people, they can't pour from an empty cup. Their cup is empty. And they don't even know how to form those words. Because, again, nobody did it for them. So why should I do it for you? And that was said, too. Like, why should I do that for you? Nobody did it for me. That's that same pull yourself up by your bootstraps mentality when you don't have any boots. It's terrible. And some people don't see anything wrong with it. There's also quality time. Again, if a child had a parent who was always working, they weren't able to spend quality time. And I am guilty of that because I was always at work. And I would just pay for my son to go on trips and, you know, participate in school activities. He was in the chess club. I kept him busy, but because I needed to work in order to pay for those activities, and I couldn't pay for both of us to go and miss work and miss out on my money and all of those things, I wasn't always able to go. Matter of fact, I was never really able to go because it was just me for the most part. And I'm sure that affected him because my son has anger issues, and I'm going to admit that. And I've suggested several times that he sees somebody, he has started seeing somebody, but I don't think it was the right somebody because you have to find the right somebody for you. As I said in another video, there's all types of counseling. There's psychotherapy. A psychologist is only going to give you medicine. To me, that's not really helping you, right? There's also, you know, licensed clinical social workers, psychologist, not psychologist, like, what am I trying to say? I'm not getting the words right now. But anyway, there's different branches of therapy. So you have to find which one you think would best work for you. Those who had severe trauma really need psychotherapy, right? If you had maybe less severe trauma, a licensed clinical social worker may help, but really they're only going to listen to you. So really, if you just feel like you want somebody to talk to, because a lot of people complain and they go to other people, but those people aren't really, they can't really help you. I mean, they can, but then if it's somebody who's close to you, you aren't really going to respect what they're saying. So you need to seek professional help. But he'll get it together one day when he's ready, you know. But you can't make somebody do something. But again, I see a lot of people hurting. And his father wasn't there. They have a relationship now, but that doesn't take away from the lack of upbringing he didn't receive. I just got a Cash App. So, words of affirmation, quality time, physical touch, acts of service, and receiving gifts. So again, if you just gave your child gifts, but you were at work all the time, they didn't get the love and the nurturing they needed. You may have done the best that you possibly could, and I'm not saying that you didn't. And children, especially boys, usually feel an obligation to their mother. And they're never going to say, I needed more. I needed hugs and kisses. Sometimes they don't even know that that's what they needed. They're just going to go along with what you say. Oh, my mom did a good job. And you may have done a good job. Again, I know I did a good job, but my son still has anger issues because there was a lack there. He has not dealt with the abandonment issues he suffered from as a result of his father not being there. And he did have a stepfather, but then he turned out to abandon him either and told him, oh, I forgot you weren't my real son anyway. And that was very hurtful. And it was because he wouldn't do what he wanted him to do. And then when people, you know, become spiteful and vindictive in that way, they tend to be dishonest about what happened. Because I know that there were things said about me. Like, the person kept saying, oh, tell your mom to stop putting things in my name. Like, what the hell are you talking about? I don't even think about you. Why would I put... Why? First of all, how can I put something in your name without you even being there? I don't remember your social or any of those things. So what? I don't... If there's a creditor calling you, it's probably from years ago for something, you know, because anyway. But I don't know if he was making it up, but obviously this was some years ago, but obviously up until that point, he was still angry about our breakup. But you cheated and you lied. So how are you angry at me? That doesn't make sense. But people don't want to be accountable and responsible for their actions. They want to blame other people and try to shame other people and turn people against you because of their actions or their shortcomings. But do what you want with your body. If you feel like you want to have more children, have them. And don't let anybody talk you out of it or make you feel bad or any of those things. This is your life. And I know for myself, you know, what I just say all the time, what other people think about me is none of my business. I don't care what anybody thinks about me. That has nothing to do with me. That has everything to do with them. So let them think what they want. That's on them. So I hope that this information was helpful. As always, thanks for all the likes, comments, shares, subscribes, donations. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this video or this channel. And as always, I love y'all. And I thank you for watching. Later.